space do you need around bedroom furniture? Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, in this video, we are going to talk about a bed, a nightstand, and a dresser, and how much space you need around those pieces of furniture so your room is comfortable and has a good flow. Plus, we'll talk about what you can look for and what you can do to make your bedroom work better. So let's get started. And the first piece of furniture that we're going to take a look at is a bed. And the information that I'm going to provide for you, some general guidelines, can apply to any size of bed. But let's just take a look at some general recommendations of how much space, how much clearance I recommend to leave around your bed so that everything is comfortable and works well in that room. So first thing, let's take a look at the sides. And generally, I recommend leaving 30 to 36 inches on the sides of the bed. And this is because we are sitting on the bed or need to be able to get in and out of the bed easily, and we need plenty of space to do that. So it's really important to leave as much space on the sides as possible. And there may even be a pathway next to the bed. So that's another reason to make sure that there's plenty of space there. And then for the head of the bed, so the top of the bed, I generally recommend having your bed 1 to 2 inches out from the wall. And that may mean even just kind of placing your bed, your headboard, the top of the bed, just right up against your baseboard, or maybe even just an inch out from your baseboard. And we can think of another piece of furniture in our home where I would recommend the same thing, and that would be a sofa or a couch, to not place it right up against the wall, but just to have just a little bit of wiggle room in between the wall and your bed. And then at the foot of the bed, I recommend leaving 30 to 36 inches. And the reason why is that this may be another place where we sit on the bed to put on socks and shoes, or it may be a place where it is a pathway and you need to leave that space open to get to other parts of the room. And then how much space you really need for a bed in your bedroom will depend upon where you place it in your bedroom. Say if you place your bed up against a wall, one side up against a wall, you won't need, 30 to 36 inches. But I would leave at least 12 inches in between that wall and your bed, just so there's some wiggle room and plenty of room to make your bed, adjust the bedding. So one thing you can do is kind of check your bed and assess if it's working well, if you have plenty of space around it. First thing is to sit on the bed and get in and out of the bed. Is there plenty of room for you to do that easily? And the other thing to do is to move around the bed and notice if there's enough space to do that easily. And the next thing you can look for is if your bed is next to another piece of furniture or next to, say, a door, making sure that there's some wiggle room in there in between each of those elements so that there's plenty of space to be able to move around easily and to access things easily. And if you have another piece of furniture that's opposite your bed, on the other wall that's opposite your bed, is there plenty of room to walk around the bed in between that piece of furniture and your bed? So just get a sense of how everything is working. Is there enough space, or is there too much space? Can you make some adjustments? Can you create more space if there isn't enough space for you to get in and out of the bed easily? Or can you create more space where there is a pathway where you have to move around a bed, say, to get to the other side? Can you make some adjustments so you have more space? Or even think about moving the bed to another wall. Maybe that would make more sense for the room and create more space around the bed. And if your bed is right up against the wall, furniture, or right up against a doorway, can you move the bed just a bit so that there's some space in between each of those elements? And then let's take a look at a nightstand. On the sides, it's always nice to have some wiggle room. So that usually means 1 to 2 inches in between, say, a nightstand and your bed. And consider your bedding, because your bedding, say if you have a comforter on your bed or a duvet on your bed, that takes up space. So make sure you leave 1 to 2 inches or maybe 3 inches in between your nightstand and your bed, so there's plenty of room to place that bedding in between your bed and the nightstand. And then for the top or back of the nightstand, I would recommend leaving that 1 to 2 inches of wiggle room in between the wall and the nightstand. And that may mean placing the nightstand even with the bed, but I think even better is to kind of move it up a little bit, just so that everything is easy to access. And then for the front of the nightstand, it's nice to have 30 to 36 inches of free and clear space. And then one thing that kind of just naturally happens if you have a nightstand next to your bed, that automatically leaves space on that side where nightstand is. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is, will that be enough of space? What I would recommend doing is going by that guideline of 30 to 36 inches on either side of the bed, so that there's plenty of space to get in and out of the bed, and that also leaves plenty of space for your nightstand. So a couple things you can take a look at if you have a nightstand next to your bed. One of them we talked about already, and that is making sure that you have some wiggle room in between your bed and your nightstand. Ideally, that's around 1 to 2 inches. But check and see what your bedding is like, because your bedding is going to take up space. So make sure you leave plenty of space for you to easily make up your bed, and that bedding can easily fit in between the nightstand and the bed. And then just to make sure that you have some wiggle room on the other side of the nightstand. If it's next to another piece of furniture or next to a door, that there's some space there in between those different elements. And then sit down in your bed and see how easy it is to access things on your nightstand. Can you easily turn on a lamp or grab something from the top of the nightstand? And if so, it sounds like it's close enough to your bed to be able to do that. But if not, see if you can move it a little bit closer while still keeping some wiggle room in between your bed and the nightstand. And then check that your nightstand is out from the wall. Is there a little bit of wiggle room in between the wall and the back of the nightstand? Or do you need to move it out a little bit more just so things are easy to access on that nightstand? And the last piece of furniture that we'll look at is a dresser or a chest of drawers. And one interesting thing to notice about a dresser is that it's a stationary piece of furniture, just like a bed and nightstand, but it has some movable parts. And we can think of a chest of drawers as our filing cabinet for clothes. And we need to keep that in mind so that we have plenty of space around that dresser to be able to open those drawers easily. So when we look at a dresser, we want to keep some wiggle room on both sides. So 1 to 2 inches in between different pieces of furniture or something else that's going on in the room, say a door that's going to open. And then at the top or the back of the dresser, we would go back to those same recommendations for the bed and the nightstand to make sure that the dresser isn't right up against the wall, so that it's out from the wall 1 to 2 inches. And then at the front of the dresser, we want to make sure that we can easily stand there at the dresser. There's plenty of room to do that. But also when we open those drawers, that we have room to stand there and access everything from those drawers. So what I recommend is when those drawers are open is to leave 30 inches in front of those drawers of open and free and clear space. And 36 inches is even better. So what you can do to make sure you have enough space for your dresser is to double check that you have 1 or 2 inches in between different elements in the room on either side, and that it is just 1 or 2 inches out from the wall. And one essential thing I want you to try out is to be in front of your dresser and open your drawers and see how that feels. See if there's plenty of room for you to be able to do that easily and stand there and access everything from your dresser. Or do you have to stand on the side of the dresser because there isn't enough room to be able to do that? And if that's kind of in a pathway, so maybe there's a pathway to get to the other side of the bed, and if someone else were to move behind you around to the other side of the bed, is there room to do that? Or do they have to kind of wait for you to push in the drawers and then be able to do that? And if that space is tight when you are in front of the dresser with those drawers open, can you look at your room and see if there may be another spot to place the dresser, or maybe even move the bed to a different location in the room, just so things may work a little bit better. So I encourage you to take a look at your bedroom and see how the spacing is. If you have enough space for all of your different pieces of furniture, and if that furniture layout is working well for you, and if not, to make some adjustments. And keep in mind that my recommendations are some general guidelines, but your space will be unique. And how much space you have and the sizes of your furniture and where you can place everything will be unique to you. And so you want to make sure to keep that in mind, that what's going to make sense for your bedroom. And let me know if you have any questions or anything else to add to this topic on how much space we need for bedroom furniture in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.